When the highly anticipated bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was announced, the reaction across the boxing community was a mixture of disbelief, excitement, and concern. Among those who voiced their opinion, none were more vocal and more passionate than Floyd Mayweather. Typically composed and reserved in public commentary, Mayweather broke character in a rare moment of intensity, issuing a strong warning to Jake Paul to cancel the fight immediately. His reaction wasn't just a professional opinion, it carried a deep personal and emotional weight. Mayweather's respect for Mike Tyson runs deep, and seeing someone like Jake Paul, a relative newcomer with a controversial approach to boxing, step into the ring with one of the sport's fiercest legends ignited genuine concern, not just for the match, but for Jake's safety. What truly pushed Mayweather into the spotlight wasn't solely the matchup. Rumors swirled that Jake Paul had made insensitive remarks about Mike Tyson's deceased daughter, comments that shocked many and were viewed as crossing an unforgivable line. For a seasoned boxer like Floyd, who understands the significance of family, legacy, and respect in the sport, such disrespect was more than just trash talk, it was deeply personal. And for someone like Tyson, who's experienced tremendous trauma and rebounded through sheer strength and grit, the emotional toll of that kind of mockery is impossible to ignore. Mayweather, known for his dignity outside the ring, couldn't stand by silently. He felt the need to publicly call Jake out, not for views or headlines, but to protect the honor of a man he deeply respects and to prevent a potential tragedy inside the ropes. Mayweather's respect for Tyson isn't a new development. Despite not being contemporaries in the ring, Tyson dominated the heavyweight scene while Floyd reigned in lighter weight classes. Their paths have intersected with a mutual admiration. Mayweather, often praised as one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time, built his legacy with precision and perfection. Retiring with an undefeated 50-0 record and 15 world titles across multiple weight classes, Floyd's career is unmatched. Yet, whenever asked about the legends of the sport who inspired him, Tyson's name is always one of the first to leave his lips. He's never badmouthed Tyson, even in moments when others might have seized the chance. Instead, he's praised Tyson's raw talent, his unmatched work ethic, and his journey through adversity. Their mutual respect was evident during the 2015 WBC convention in Las Vegas. In a memorable lighthearted moment, Tyson approached Floyd on stage and playfully mimicked throwing one of his signature punches. The audience laughed, and Mayweather, unfazed, responded with a warm hug and a smile. It was a gesture that showed not just sportsmanship, but a brotherly bond, one that transcended their differences in weight class, age, and personality. That bond, that respect, is what made Mayweather's recent outburst so significant. He wasn't merely criticizing Jake. He was defending a friend, a hero, and a legend. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has carved a path that's often at odds with the traditions of boxing. Rising to fame through social media and YouTube, Jake ventured into boxing with a blend of marketing genius and brash confidence. His early bouts were against fellow influencers and retired MMA fighters, opponents with limited boxing experience which allowed Jake to build a winning streak and create buzz. However, when he stepped into the ring with Tommy Fury, a professional boxer from a renowned fighting family, the result was a wake-up call. Jake lost the match in Saudi Arabia, and with it, the illusion that he could dominate boxing without facing real fighters. It was shortly after this defeat that Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul crossed paths. The footage from their encounter shows Mayweather confronting Jake, accusing him of losing his edge, of not being tough anymore since his loss. Jake, rather than standing his ground, walked away from the situation, perhaps realizing he wasn't ready for that kind of energy. For Mayweather, it was more than a verbal jab. It was a revelation. Jake, confident in front of cameras, seemed unsure and outmatched when faced with a real confrontation. And now, this same man is stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson? To those familiar with Tyson's legacy, this seems like madness. Mike Tyson is not just a former champion. He is a cultural icon. Bursting onto the scene at just 19, he quickly established himself as a force of nature. At 20, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. In 1985 alone, Tyson fought 15 times and won every match, many of them with explosive knockouts in the early rounds. He was nicknamed Iron Mike, not just for his strength, but for his relentlessness, his aura of invincibility, and his intimidating presence. Opponents often admitted to being mentally defeated before the first punch was even thrown. What made Tyson so lethal wasn't just power, it was his technique. His defensive skills were underrated, his head movement was rapid and calculated, and his ability to counterpunch off the slightest opening was terrifying. Jake Paul, for all his boldness, has never faced anyone close to Tyson's caliber. His claim of having an iron chin that can withstand Tyson's blows isn't just arrogant, it's borderline reckless. Boxing isn't about bravado. It's about preparation, technique, and respect for the danger that comes with every punch. Tyson's current trainer echoed these concerns in a recent interview. He stated with full confidence that Tyson will land his punches on Jake. There's no way he won't. Even in his 50s, Tyson's training footage reveals a man who still carries power, explosiveness, and speed that would scare even seasoned pros. The idea that Jake could dodge or absorb that level of force is hard to believe. And if Floyd Mayweather, one of the most defensive-savvy fighters in history, says Jake is out of his depth, it's a warning worth listening to. Mayweather also criticized Jake's approach to boxing as a whole. He acknowledged that Jake has talent, and that what he's doing, bringing new fans into the sport, is impressive in its own way. But he made it clear that there's a big difference between fighting MMA stars and YouTubers versus stepping into the ring with real boxers. According to Floyd, as long as Jake stays in his lane, he'll keep shining. But the moment he steps in with someone like Tyson, it's not going to be that good. This wasn't meant as a roast, it was a reality check. Boxing is not entertainment content. It's not something you can edit or reshoot. In the ring, there are no second takes. One mistake can mean serious injury, or worse, and Tyson is not known for mercy. His previous opponents, many of whom were seasoned pros, ended their fights bruised, broken, and in need of long recovery periods. For Jake, who has only recently transitioned from influencer to fighter, facing Tyson isn't a stepping stone. It's a wall of iron. So why does Jake persist? Some say it's for fame. Others believe he truly wants to test himself. But whatever the motivation, Mayweather's warning was clear and deeply sincere. He said it bluntly. Tyson will demolish him. It's not about age, it's about experience, instinct, and power. And Tyson, even in his later years, remains one of the most dangerous men to ever enter a boxing ring. As the fight date approaches, the stakes continue to rise. Fans are split. Some excited to see what happens, others dreading the potential consequences. But one thing is certain. Floyd Mayweather, with all his wisdom and experience, didn't speak out lightly. When he says someone should back out of a fight, he means it. And if Jake doesn't listen, the world may soon witness a painful lesson in the difference between hype and reality.